We have reached 10 minutes to go until the end of practice here at Bristol. It's the A Squared Cup Series here on Arts Wrecking Networks. I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you all for spending your Easter Sunday with us tonight as we get ready for some dirt track racing here in Bristol, Tennessee. Looking at Donald Ray, he is the fourth fastest at the moment. Ryan Pannell, the current fastest on the leaderboard, has not been on track for quite a while now, but no one's topped his time anywhere just yet. John Smith right behind in third. In the Smil Racing Designs, number 50. Let's see how difficult it is to drive here. It's difficult to drive at Bristol anyway. Even more so when it's covered in dirt. You can see where it's starting to rubber in a little bit, though. See where that racing groove is going to end up being, where that cushion is. Spent a little bit of time during the week getting up to speed as to what drivers would have to kind of deal with here at Bristol. And it's a unique experience. Definitely a unique set of challenges and skills that should make the racing tonight pretty interesting, at least. Different drivers will be near the front of the field, I believe, just based off of what we're seeing here. Like, there's some dirt track specialists that'll shine tonight. So, that on top of it being the Easter holiday, we are fingers crossed that we'll have a pretty smooth sailing event here. But it's not easy. You see John Smil, he's third fastest, but it's difficult to maintain that run with how steep the banking is here at Bristol. See, there's Tom Sears coming out of pit lane. It's so hard to get up to speed. Especially because, like, as you saw, the pit lane is still paved. It's still asphalt. But once you get to the dirt, exiting pit lane, way different scenario. And it takes you a solid lap to get off of pit lane and get up to speed here. As you see, Tom Sears now up to speed, getting around John Smil. Ooh. That was Tom Sears getting really loose and collecting Joshua Gaiman. You see, we have less than 3 minutes left of practice here, and then we're going to step into qualifying here at Bristol. See, looks like we have 15 cars ready to participate tonight. All right, qualifying beginning here at Bristol. James Kerr, the first one on track. He's on a flying lap. Again, for everyone that's joining in, I know it's been a pretty slow start of the session. Had some technical issues we were resolving. But we should be underway and good to go for tonight's race. 16 people present to take part in this event on Easter Sunday. James Kerr, the fastest so far. He's at a lap time 20.3 on the board for James Kerr. See what the second lap brings. Tom Sears second on the board. James Kerr's second lap did not improve. Looking at Tom Sears. Riding up high, riding close to that cushion. Across the line. He does improve, but not enough to take pole position away. Donald Ray finishing his first lap. Goes fast as 19.6. He's got something in the number 5. All right, gonna get around. Going through turns 3 and 4. Riley Wright goes second fastest. Second lap underway for Donald Ray, and he improves still by a little bit. 19.47. Tommy Reynolds on his second lap now. He's up to P2. Toby Estes takes second place away from him. Can he get back on the front row? Ryan Pannell goes fastest. Reynolds went faster, but not fast enough. Pannell on his second lap. Now the fast times are coming in. Toby Estes went faster for a moment. Pannell takes pole position back away. What can Josh Gaiman do? The Ukraine tribute car. Finishing his first lap across the line. He goes fastest, 19.09. Can anyone top that? Second lap coming underway for Josh Gaiman. What's it going to be? Improved still, 19.05. Dylan McDonald, his debut. Moves only 10th fastest at 20.23. Just tags the wall, so this is his run over. But a 19.05 for Josh Gaiman. Insanity. So qualifying mostly is done at this particular point in time. 14 have set lap time, 17 have showed up total. So 3 drivers will not be setting lap times here in qualifying. So now we wait for the first heat to begin. So for those unfamiliar with how this works, 2 heats, the last chance qualifier, then the main event. That's pretty simple. Actually, looks like we have a car on track here. Hold on. We do have a car on track. It's Thomas Andrews. Set to run laps here, I believe, potentially. Keep an eye on him. He's going to do practice runs here. Don't believe he's setting a lap time, but he has the ability to. Alrighty, so it's time. I believe we're jumping straight to the last chance qualifier here. I'll have to double check on this. Because there's 15 in this event. The only people that are not present are the people that qualified in the front row, which was Gaiman and Ryan Pannell. Here's what the grid looks like. It's Toby Estes over Donald Ray, then Bradley Wright and Tommy Reynolds make up row number 2. John Smeal lines up alongside Jeremy Breo in row number 3. Trey Kirk and Jacob Blankenship in row number 4. Row 5 is Dylan McDonald and James Kerr. Row 6, Tom Sears and Cody Riggs. Looking further down the order, you have Kevin Feemster and Thomas Andrews in row 7, and Pete Woodrum rounds out the field of 15 in this heat race. Might be an issue with the number 78. He's listed as the number 19 on track, but he's number 78 on the leaderboard. Alright, so it looks like he is reset here. Right, so Toby Estes had an issue, so now we are looking at Bradley Wright on the front row alongside Donald Ray to start off this heat race. Pace truck is in. Green flag in the air. We're racing for the first time at Dirt Bristol. Chip up against the wall, so as I believe Dylan McDonald, he touched it a little bit. Cody Riggs also touched the wall there. At the front, though, it's Bradley Wright. Done a pretty phenomenal job so far. See, it's Wright, then Ray over Reynolds and Trey Kirk. Then you have John Smeal sitting in the 5th spot. Jacob Lathrop in 6th. Dylan McDonald in 7th. Tom Sears in 8th. James Kerrbound in 9th. 11th, a 10th for Toby Estes. 11th for Cody Riggs. Battle for, I believe this is P6. It is for P6. Between McDonald and Blankenship. Battle for P2 between the two very similar looking cars. It's the 7 of Tommy Reynolds and the 5 of Donald Ray. Trey Kirk joining the battle. Everyone getting a little bit sideways. Trey Kirk just driving in deep, using that inside lane, and just took third away. So Trey Kirk's got something figured out here a little bit. Ooh, Trey Kirk just got put in the wall. Everyone's caught up to Bradley Wright. But Trey Kirk got moved from 2nd down to 4th. That was an interesting little battle here. But it's Bradley Wright that wins over Tommy Reynolds. Trey Kirk finished 3rd. Donald Ray in 4th. John Smeal in 5th. And it's Dylan McDonald 6 ahead of Tom Sears and Jacob Blankenship. That was the first heat race. Now we're in the last chance qualifier. Alrighty, we're rolling here. It's Tom Sears over Jacob Blankenship, Toby Estes, Cody Riggs, James Kerr, Thomas Andrews, all present. This is the last chance qualifier. Everyone's going to make the field. It's just a matter of who's going to start where. Pace truck is in pit lane. We're racing for the last chance qualifier here in Bristol. Sears, Blankenship, Estes in the front three. Ooh, Sears almost spun it. He does spin. But out of the way. 6 laps to go here in Dirt Bristol. Right now, we're looking at Jacob Blankenship. He's in third and he hits the wall. Kerr in second. Toby Estes well ahead right now at the moment. Technical issue forced him to miss the first heat race. But he's making up for it by dominating this last chance qualifier. Kerr in second. Blankenship in third. Riggs down in fourth. Andrews in fifth. Tom Sears in sixth. Estes well and truly commanding this race to make up for it. Coming to 2 laps to go. Coming to the white flag. Oh, 1 lap to go here in this last chance qualifier. Toby Estes with the race win here. Does a little bit of a 360 to celebrate. And then we'll jump right into the main event. So here's the warm-up period. Everyone's got 5 minutes to get everything ready to go. 17 drivers set to take the grid here in Bristol. Alrighty. It is showtime here in Bristol. Here is the starting grid. Joshua Gaiman on the front row alongside Ryan Pannell. That's the front row that was determined by qualifying. Row 2, Bradley Wright and Tommy Reynolds make up that row. They were 1-2 in the first heat race. Row 3 is Trey Kirk and Donald Ray. Row 4 is where you'll find John Smeal alongside the debuting Dylan McDonald. Row 5 is where you'll find Toby Estes and James Kerr. Jacob Blankenship and Cody Riggs make up row number 6. Excuse me for that. Row 7, Thomas Andrews and Tom Sears make up that row. Row 8 is where you'll find Jeremy Brayo and Kevin Feemster and Pete Woodrum rounding out the back of the field here on Easter Sunday. Two formation laps will lead in to 125 laps here at Bristol. Seventeen cars. Who's going to dominate the dirt here at Bristol? It's Gaiman and Pannell on the front row. Coming around the final corner, green flags in the air. We are racing at Bristol. Here's a good look. McDonald just got put in the wall there by, I believe that was, it wasn't James Kerr, I believe it was Cody Riggs. No, that was Brayo. Jeremy Brayo. New look for him. As we look down the order here. At the front, it's Josh Gavin over Trey Kirk and Bradley Wright. That's John Smeal on the bottom. Stage 1 is up until lap 30. So when we finish lap 30, the stage yellow will come out and we'll re-rack them for stage 2. Right now, Josh Gaiman running around laps around this field. It's 4 seconds between Gaiman and Bradley Wright. See Bradley Wright here in P2 battling with Trey Kirk and Ryan Pannell. John Smeal back in the running here. He's 1 lap down, but he's in this group as Wright and Kirk battle up for second place. That was John Smeal that ran out of control there. Trying to stay out of the way. Moves down off the cushion. Ooh, John Smill just struggling big time here. .8 now between Gaiman and Wright, who's battling with Trey Kirk. Kirk got up to second. See if Kirk can actually close the ground up a little bit. 30 laps going to click by pretty quick here. Cautions will be difficult to come by. As you saw, that was Thomas Andrews getting laps there. Donald Ray and Jeremy Breo on pit lane as Andrews tags the wall again. Yeah, we're looking at Trey Kirk. He's in second place. Josh Gaiman well ahead, 5.7 for Josh Gaiman is the gap to Trey Kirk. That's the gap. It's insane gap here. As Leo has Dylan McDonald in the wall. Oh, he spun around. That's what happened. And the yellow comes out. For the first time, we have a caution here on lap 15. And it was for a Dylan McDonald crash. Here's what happened. You see he's there with Kerr and Blankenship. Kerr just gets a little bit too much rotation. And both Blankenship and McDonald just spun around. And that's how the caution comes out. So, Josh Gaiman's 6-second lead is gone. Now it's a question of, can Trey Kirk keep up with him now? Again, stage 1 ends on lap 30, so we're still very well within stage 1. So, it's Gaiman, Kirk, Wright, Estes, Pannell, Riggs, Kerr, Sears on the lead lap. Reynolds, McDonald, Blankenship, Smeal, Ray, and Andrews a lap down. So is Jeremy Breo. We got Gaiman, Kirk, right, top three. Double up here. Pace truck is in. We're back racing here at Bristol. 10 lap shootout. To get to the end of stage one, Kirk on the outside, Gaiman to the inside. Here we go. Gaiman, Kirk, as Kirk tags the wall. Oh, Estes goes to second. Everyone tagged the wall, it sounded like. But Estes up to P2. Kirk in third. That's James Kerr that tied the wall. Just trying to make it. Trey Kirk down to third, Estes in second. But Josh Gaiman in an element on his own. That's Trey Kirk in the wall. Reynolds is sideways, yellows out. Yellows out. And that was why Dylan McDonald sideways backwards on the back straightaway. So here's why the second yellow of the race has come out. And the caution started well ahead. That's Pannell and Cody Riggs that were involved. So we'll go back to it. Riggs just gets way too loose, tags Reynolds back into Pannell, and it just creates a logjam. Ooh, it's Trey Kirk sideways. What a save as we went to green there. Gaiman still leading, but it's Toby Estes in second. Riley Wright just tied the wall. James Crow up to fourth. And it is a log jam back here. Yellow's out once again. This ends stage one. So full points.
Black flags if you get wrecked into the pits.
Heard someone got wrecked to the pit lane. That was Jacob Blankenship that did. So SD's at the front of the field. I believe Josh Gaiman has took a pit stop here, because he is down at the bottom now. He is in seventh. So I'm willing to bet that he took a pit stop here on stage one. So it's SD's Wright, Kirk, and Kerr. And then Tom Sears in fifth, Ryan Pannell in the sixth spot, Josh Gaiman in seventh, Blankenship in eighth, Reynolds in ninth, Cody Riggs in 10th. 14 cars still running, 3 cars out. McDonald, Woodrum, and Feemster out of this race. Green flag back to the air. SD's in the lead over Briley Wright and Trey Kirk. We'll see how it goes. Kirk's already in the wall. Keep an eye on that blue and yellow, number 61. That's Josh Gaiman as Pannell backs up the field a little bit here. Reynolds tags, and that's going to be a yellow. Reynolds sent it in super deep, and it didn't work out. Donald Ray also involved. I believe he clipped Jacob Blankenship. We'll take another look at it. And you see, there's the moment of contact right there. This is Tommy Reynolds, and he just sent it in deep. Everyone's slowing up. He tries to send it on the inside. It doesn't stick, because, I mean, we're on dirt. And, yeah, takes out several cars. There's Pannell involved, Donald Ray involved. That was Trey Kirk. That was sideways. I don't know if he was part of it or not. No, he wasn't. This was a different incident right ahead of it. So Trey Kirk sideways. And Sears just moves up the track and just flips Trey Kirk, and Kirk spun around. So Reynolds coming down pit lane. It's SD is still in the lead. Then it's Kerr in second, Bradley Wright third, and Josh Gaiman's up to fourth. They're going to double up here. You see Gaiman on the outside lane here. They're restarting in position number 4. He led all of stage 1. So it's SD's Kerr, Gaiman, Wright, top 4. Blanchip and Riggs in row 3. Stage 2 ends on lap 60. We are in stage 2. Pace truck is in. We're green flag once again, and you see how difficult it is to get going here. And we're going to be back under yellow. Very quickly back under yellow. We'll go back to it because it is on the restart here. We'll review that restart here because this is what the restart looks like. It's on Toby Estes. And everyone just wheel spins. And you see Kerr just wheel spin. You see the tank slapper where the rear tires just aren't gripping at all. And he just tags the 19, or I guess 78 Toby Estes. And just throws the car straight into the wall right in front of Gaiman. Gaiman gets spun down. He gets spun down in front of Bradley Wright. So there's all the top 4 involved. See Cody Riggs is in there as well. Blanchip involved. Just a mess. Now we're going to try this again. Gaiman down in P5, getting his car repaired. It's Bradley right at the front of the field. Jacob Blankenship in second. Ryan Pannell third. Fourth for Tom Sears. Gaiman fifth. Josh Kerr in seventh. Or James Kerr in seventh. And sixth, excuse me. Thomas Andrews in seventh on the lead lap. Trey Kirk, the first car, 1 lap down. Pit truck is in. Green flag back in the air. We're underway once again. It's right. Blankenship, Pannell, Sears, Gaiman. We'll see how it goes. Gaiman's down on the bottom, down the very far bottom as they try to split. Ryan Pannell, 3 wide. Look out. That's going to be another yellow. Number 6 on the day. That is, so this second stage has been a bit rough. This is going to be very, very, very interesting. So again, we're on the 6th caution of the day. Bradley Wright's in the race lead. The caution is for Ryan Pannell and Tom Sears. It's Wright, Blankenship, Gaiman, Kerr, Andrews, Pannell, Kirk, top 7. Tom Sears in 8th. John Smeal in 9th. Jeremy Breo in 10th. 11th for Cody Riggs. 12th for Toby Estes. Tommy Reynolds, Donald Ray, Dylan McDonald, sorry. Pete Woodrum and Kevin Feemster out of this race. Stage 2 ends on lap 60, so this is going to be a little quick dash to get to the end of stage 2. Pace truck pulls off. Again, Bradley Wright and Jacob Blankenship rolling. Jacob Blankenship with a lot of wheel spin. Bradley Wright gets a really good start. And away we go once again. 6 laps to go to the end of stage 2. Gaiman to the inside of Bradley Wright. He led all of stage 1, has not led any of stage 2 just yet. He almost lost it. Gonna try that again. Gaiman really trying to go for that race lead. He knows he has the pace for it. He has the fastest lap. Gonna try to go for it once again. Yellow's out. Did Gaiman get it? Gaiman had the race lead, and I believe this is how stage 2 is gonna end. It's for Cody Riggs and Ryan Pannell. Here's why. Pannell sideways. Bray almost lost it. Uh-oh, Pannell just tagged the wall, and both went sideways. Really interesting wall tap for Pannell. So there's Pannell here in the 12. See if we can get a better look at it. So here's what happens here. Pannell just, yeah, he just wheel spins and loses it.
All good.
So Josh Gaiman back at the lead here. This is how stage 2 ends. With Gaiman, then Bradley Wright, then Jacob Blankenship in the top 3. All right, so we're starting stage 3 here. Pace car's gonna pull in. It's Gaiman, Wright, Blankenship, Kerr, Kirk, Sears, Andrews, Pannell, top 8. Green flag back in the air. We're underway once again. And that did not seem comforting. Sears, watch out for Tom Sears. He's good. Tom Sears in 6th. Riley Wright in 2nd. Gaiman's pulled away. Trey Kirk in 3rd. 4th is where you'll find... 5th is James Kerr. 4th is Jacob Blankenship. Battling for 3rd with Trey Kirk. Tom Sears trying to get around Jeremy Breo for 6th and does. Breo's a lap down. So this is not a battle for position. Breo's kind of sending Sears through turns 3 there. But Sears keeps momentum. Pannell in 7th. 8th is Thomas Andrews. Kind of just taking it easy. John Smill in 9th. The first car off the lead lap. Sears has come to a stop. Going to go through pit lane. But Joshua Gaiman at the front of the field has opened up a 2.5-second lead. Gaiman is just on his own. It's crazy how far ahead, how much pace Joshua Gaiman has right now. His fastest lap's an 18.8. No one else has even broke the low 19s. Trey Kirk in 3rd. Blankenship in 4th. See James Kerr down in 6th, struggling here a little bit. Pannell in the 5th spot. Well, all eyes right now on Josh Gaiman. And caution is out, and it is for Tom Sears and Jeremy Breo. Here's why. This is on Breo. Oh no, that's Tom Sears and Cody Riggs. And Sears and Breo wasn't even involved in it. It was Tom Sears and Cody Riggs. Just Breo spun on his own. The top Sears not on the lead lap. He is now 2 laps down. Thomas Andrews 1 lap down, and then number 2. Who's going to come down pit lane. Gaiman is going to be ahead of Bradley Wright, Trey Kirk. These 3 have been the fastest 3 all race. James Kerr in 4th, John Smeal up to 5th, Ryan Pannell in 6th. So I believe John Smeal actually got a lap. I believe he's Lucky Dog. So he's going to move to the tail end of the field here. Blankenship in 6th. Getting to run out of cars. But Gaiman and Bradley Wright will be on the front row coming on this 8th restart. Pace truck pulls in. It's on Gaiman's command. Gaiman goes. We're racing once again here at Bristol. So several cars in the wall, yellows come out, and it's for Jacob Blankenship and Bradley Wright and others. Bradley Wright involved. Here's a look at it. It's Blankenship. Bradley Wright's ahead of them, I believe. Oh, Bradley Wright got tagged. He got spun around. Everyone checked up. And just a hard impact for Jacob Blankenship there. See, he got spun around and tried to get out of the way, but Blankenship had already committed down low, and once you do that, you can't, even in normal circumstances, you can't really change it. Excuse me. But especially in these circumstances where you're on dirt, you have no chance of even coming close to altering your line once you commit. So Wright's going to be in 5th place on this restart. Jacob Blankenship on pit lane. He's going to come out of pit lane here. The Ryan Pannell missing his front end. He's going to go a lap down, I believe. Yep, a lap down for Ryan Pannell. So we're going to be under We're going to be preparing for our 9th restart here. Coming to about 50 laps to go. Oh, excuse me, 40 laps to go, excuse me. Can't count. 40 laps to go. And a couple laps here. We're coming to 42 to go at the moment. It's Gaiman, Kirk, Kerr, Smeal, Wright, Andrews, Blankenship, Pannell back running. He is 1 lap down. The first car 1 lap down. Green flag back in the air. It's Gaiman out front. Car is in the wall. It's Tom Sears. See the damage on that machine. Cody Riggs, Jeremy Breo, Bradley Wright, watch out! That was James Kerr that was down on the bottom. Out of the way. But this is not done. Steer is still in the wall. He's struggling hard. And that's a caution, and that's why you're seeing them drive through it. Breo, Smeal, and Blankenship. Here's what happened. Just really poor luck there for Jacob Blankenship. He's been involved in so many accidents that really aren't his fault. It just slide, and Blankenship had nowhere to go. So Blankenship in 5th. Josh Gaiman again leading this race. We're under a 10th caution of the day. Alrighty. So we're under 40 to go. See if we can get a green flag run in here. The record amount of cautions is 17 set at Martinsville. Don't think we're going to be touching that today, but I don't want to make that seem like a challenge. Joshua Gaiman is still the fastest man on track. He's at an 18.88. No one's broken the 18s aside from Gaiman. So fastest lap is his, almost without dispute there. Trey Kirk has the second fastest lap, a 19.16. But Gaiman has walked away. Every restart has been the race lead. I don't expect this to be any different here, unless wheel spin becomes a sudden issue for that 61. It wasn't before. Gaiman just has a pretty good pulse on this track, and you can see the rubbered in section where everyone's been running. It's gonna get a little bit slick, but It's where everyone wants to run. We're green once again. Gaiman with a really early start there, but it's a really smart move. Gaiman once again pulling away. Trey Kirk trying to pull away as well. Trying to at least salvage a second place here. This is the battle for third. Right, Kerr in this battle. Toby Estes in that blue and white machine. Not in this conversation, not on lead lap. This is the 5th place car. John Smeal out of Jacob Blankenship, Thomas Andrews, and Ryan Pannell, who is 1 lap down. Yellow has come out on lap 96. Trying to figure out where the yellow is. We're on caution number 11. I didn't see where that yellow was. That was, Gaiman is here. He's waiting for this. He's waiting for the pace truck. There it is. I'm not sure why the yellow came out there. Nothing popped up on our information screen to alert us that a yellow was coming out. So we're going to rack them up again. Lap 97 of 125. Not 98 of 125 now. We are approaching the last 25 laps of this race. Which means we should be going back to green here about lap 100. For those that didn't watch Saturday Night Showdown last night, the trend that we saw last night was we had a really good run at the beginning, which we had. Then it was going to be really chaotic here in the middle, and the end of the race was also pretty clean. So we might have that here. So it's going to be Gaiman, Kirk, Wright, Kerr, Blankenship, Smeal, Pannell back on the lead lap. Oh, he got the lucky dog here. And Andrews on pit lane, getting some service. He'll drop down to the 8th spot at the moment. So we're going to go green on lap 101. You see Kirk putting a little bit of heat in the tires there, getting us ready to go for this 11th restart of the race. See if we can have a 25 lap dash to the end of the race. Green flag back in the air, 25 to go. It's Gaiman over Kirk over Kerr. Gaiman way on the outside. That was Trey Kirk. That was James Kerr that was actually sideways. And he's stuck. He is stuck. This might be a yellow. Get out of the way, man. He does get moving. That was close. Blanchard's gone around right. Smeal's in 5th still. Pannell in 6th. Andrews 7th. 8th for James Kerr, who goes a lap down here. Blanchard gets by him. Puts him a lap down too. Oh, watch out! That's Kerr. And right. Is that gonna... That probably might be a yellow. There it is. There's the yellow. Make that the 12th yellow today. So Tom Sears gets a lucky dog here. So he's going to get 1 lap back. He's going to be, I believe, 1 lap down now. Yeah, he will be. James Kerr also a lap down. We saw him go a lap down and then end up crashing with Barley Wright. Cody Riggs 3 down. Breo 4 down. Estes 13 laps down. 12 cars running. 5 cars out. All right. Lights on the pace truck are off. We have 18 laps to go. It's Gaiman, Kirk, Blankenship, Smeal, Andrews, Pannell, Wright on the lead lap. Kerr, Sears, Riggs, Breo, and Estes rounds out the rest of the field. Green flag in the air. It's Gaiman ahead of Trey Kirk. Kirk's in the wall. The 6 in the wall. Blankenship takes second away. Andrews is tagged up with Bradley Wright. Bradley Wright and another one. Here's what you can see, the 3 wide. That's already room for disaster here. Wright sends it 3 wide. Bounces off of Brayo and right in front of Thomas Andrews, who just connects with him and just stays attached. Got the gap and it didn't pay. So we're under our 13th caution with 13 laps to go. Gaiman, our race leader, has led almost all of stage number 3. He led all of stage 1 after leading just the very tail end of stage 2. Trying to go for the sweep of stage 3 here and claim a victory. Green flag back in the air, and it was already chaos. Thomas Andrews all the way down to the wall immediately. Gaiman out front. John Smeal in third, and for a moment. This is not going to get pretty. Pannell in the wall. Bradley Wright. This is going to be, yep, this is going to be yellow, number 14. Alrighty. So, caution number 14 with 8 laps to go and counting. 7 to go now. It's going to be interesting because that caution was just everyone trying to go for the same real estate, trying to take positions and hope they could hold on to them, but this could be the first race where we use all 3 green-white checkers. Nine cars on the lead lap. See, Gaiman, Kirk, Blankenship, top 3. It's how the top 3's been most of the third stage here. And Bradley Wright, thankful that he wasn't involved in that caution. And then you start seeing the no front bumper brigade. Pannell, Kerr, Smeal, Sears, Andrews. Not sure how many have their front bumpers left, but you know that the top 4 do, and they're the top 4, so that's nice. Nine cars on the lead lap. See how this goes. Coming to the 1 to green signal here. Lights go off on the safety truck, so we will be going green at the end of this lap. See if we can finish the last 4 laps under green. Place your bets. Pace truck's going to be coming down pit lane here. Coming to 3 laps to go, actually. Miscounted that a little bit. 3 to go. Green flag's back in the air. James Kerr already struggling. And then number 75, but he keeps it pointed straight. There's Pannell, and then number 12. Got really loose, but kept it straight. Everyone tied the wall a little bit, but everyone's keeping it pointed straight. That's Blankenship and Wright battling for 3rd. Wright in the 51, Blankenship in the 85, Kirk in the 66. Smeal just got turned by James Kerr. The single car accident. Kirk up in the wall. Blankenship in 2nd. 1 lap to go. We're finishing this race under green, and it's going to be Gaiman pretty well out in front. But who's finishing 2nd? Kirk in the wall again. He's going to drop to 4th. Bradley Wright hits the wall hard. Coming to the checkered flag, it's going to be Josh Gaiman, but who's going to finish the podium? Gaiman wins, Blankenship 2nd, Bradley Wright holds on to 3rd, and Ryan Pannell beats Trey Kirk to 4th. Thomas Andrews holds on for 6th. James Kerr will come home 7th. Tom Sears in 8th. And John Smeal finishes on the lead lap in 9th. Trey Kirk most notably lost 3 spots on that from 2nd to 5th. But Josh Gaiman wins at Bristol, setting the fastest lap, led the most laps, got the most points out of it, led every stage.
My bad.
But Gaiman wins over Blankenship and Breo. Not Breo, right. Probably right. Breo wasn't on the podium.
I got you. Yeah, Bristol definitely gets super slick, and with how these cars are, it's like driving a bus. You know, the steering's super, super wide. But yeah, it's really fun to me. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a struggle there. If it would have gone green all the way, I think you get about 105 laps of fuel, something like that. So I thought maybe we might get some green flag racing, and I just topped it off a little bit and went back out on the track. But that didn't happen, so I didn't really need to.
So, looking at it, obviously, this race got messy during stage 2, and stage 3 was on and off. I guess, not sure how much of a dirt racing expert you are. Pace-wise, you look phenomenal. What would have made this better, do you believe? What would have made it a little bit more manageable, I think, for the drivers? Because it was all over the place today. It was, as you said, very slick.
Yeah, I something that was mentioned once during the race was making the race nighttime. It should have switched over to night if there were more cars. It probably would have ended up being a night race. But there was there was one heat, and then the LCQ was over and out before heat 3 would have been over if there were more cars. But yeah, night race would have held the track a lot better. Not sure how much longer it would have. It still would have been thrashed by the end, but it probably would have held out 20-30 laps more than it did.
So for those that don't know how dirt track racing works, I'm still relatively learning. What makes the track so slippery? Is it the rubber that gets laid down during the race that makes it worse, or is there just something innate that just makes that difficult?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. First it'll start out pretty slimy, like a little muddy, and then it'll go to being a more drier, hard packed surface. And then when you start to lay rubber on, the track gets super slick, and the more rubber you get, it should build grip, but iRacing hasn't really implemented that yet. I'm assuming when they do tire wear, they'll do that. But yeah, I guess it's one thing has to lead to the other at the moment. So hopefully that'll be soon, and then it'll be even more dynamic than it is now. But yeah, it gets really, really slick in iRacing, that's for sure.
So next week we have the week off because everyone's going to Talladega. But the next couple races, I believe it's Dover and Darlington. You've been quick all season long, and for one reason or another, it hasn't all been there, whether it's strategy or late race mayhem. Finally in the win column, obviously, here at Bristol. Just looking at the next 2 races, you got a week off to kind of get ready for them. How confident do you feel, because you've been fast in this car all season long, how confident do you feel that you can kind of back all of this up when we get back to Dover and Darlington, which are going to be even more mayhem?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed Dover a lot. as a track. I've done a couple of different races through the iRacing official series this year, and whether it be the Legends series with the old '87 cars, or the Cup series, or Xfinity, everything I race there is always really fun. So hopefully, I definitely have confidence going into that one. Darlington's kind of hit and miss for me. It really depends on what I'm driving, and I have yet to drive the next gen car on that track. So, whenever I get around to testing for that, the confidence will, hopefully be there.
Well, Josh, you did a fantastic job. Obviously, out-survived everybody. You went through the field in stage 2 to get back to the race lead. You led every. I think you're the first person that swept every stage in a race. So props to you on that one. But as we've done before, this is kind of where I hand the floor off to you. If you have anyone you want to shout out, obviously, anyone you would say thank you to, the floor is yours, man. You won here at Bristol. A very difficult track, a one-off experience for sure. But take the floor. It's yours.
Yeah, as usual, I'm really just a solo effort, just kind of out here doing my own thing. Yeah, the whole, the league's been really fun to run with, and I always appreciate getting the chance to be up in the booth on broadcasts. So, yeah.
Well, it's always good winning. And winning kind of guarantees that. It was fun watching you. Like, you set the fact, like, you were the only one that touched 18s. I don't know if you know that, but you're the only person that touched the 18s today. No one else could even break the low 19s. So you were on a completely different level. I don't remember what lap you set that on, but you were walking away every time we had a green flag run. Magical to watch. Hopefully we get to see more of that. Obviously, Dover, it's going to be more in everyone's wheelhouse, so I'm expecting that it'll be a little bit more competitive. But again, congratulations on your win here at Bristol, man. You earned it. Happy Easter.
Thank you. You too.
That was Josh Gaiman, our race winner. We have another interview here with Briley Wright. He finished P3, got ahead of Trey Kirk there in the 2 laps to go battle there. We're going to see if we can talk to him. Hey, Briley, this is Clayton from the RX Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. P3, that was a wild one. You seemed like an accident magnet for a little bit. You kept getting turned by just about everybody. Coming back to P3, how you feeling?
I feel pretty good about just being able to get back up there after we got wrecked a couple times there. I didn't know if it was going to be a possibility or not, because the middle of the field, it was kind of like a demolition derby back there. But whenever I finally got back to that spot, and then I noticed that we only had a couple laps to go, I was like, oh no, we're probably going to get wrecked again. But Joshua was the class of the field tonight. Him and Trey could run the wall so well, and I felt like if I could get up there, I could stay with them, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't make it happen up there, and had to keep running the middle and feathering the throttle, and I could still carry plenty of speed, but I just didn't have enough to get up with them. So I guess I'll have to keep practicing at that one. They got it seems like they got a little more dirt experience than I do.
Obviously, we talk about obviously dirt Bristol. It's a completely different experience. Some drivers, they don't do dirt racing, so this was their first experience. Josh talked about how slippery it was, especially as the race got on, and how if it had been a night race, it would have been easier. What would have made the race a little bit easier in your eyes, knowing how much rubber was on the track and knowing how quickly the track was sort of rubbering in and getting even more loose?
Yeah, I feel like going in tonight would have been a whole lot better. And another thing I noticed, the Coca-Cola E-Series, they reset the track during their race, and if we was able to do something like that, I think that would have been awesome. Plus, going into dirt or going into night, my bad, would have been a whole lot better too. But the biggest thing was just when the track was fresh, getting out and getting that track position and trying to stay out front, which would have been great. But we had so many cautions that kept bunching us back up, people getting impatient, and they couldn't drive the track slick, so there was a lot of guys just running over people. Uh, but I'm just glad we made it through it. It wasn't. It didn't seem like it was too awful, but yeah, it seemed like there was a handful of guys out there that just wasn't too acclimated with the dirt, I guess.
You talk about the track getting slick. Was it something that was across the track, or was because obviously everyone ran in the middle or high lane? Was it safer? Was there at least a little bit more grip on the bottom, or was it just bad all over the place? Because it seemed like the more the track rubbered in, it got worse. But we didn't see anyone really run the bottom. Was there a particular reason why the bottom was never used, or is it just one of those things where the bottom wasn't any different?
Whenever the track was fresh, that's where I preferred was the bottom. I could really get a good runoff. But when you're out there by yourself, or when the cars are split up, it's a lot easier to get the run off the bottom and get up to the top. When there's cars, whenever we're all restarting together, if you're on the bottom, you cannot get that drive up because there's that guy that's there, and it messes that lineup so bad. You have to move to the middle or get to the top to try to get that runoff. Um, but another thing too, when that track got slick, you ran it the exact opposite. You was almost full throttle the whole time when the track was fresh. When that track was slick, you was just barely even touching the gas pedal. It was like you had an egg underneath the gas pedal. You just couldn't get into it. You had to just barely even touch the gas pedal to get that thing going around through there. And if you got into it just a little too much, you go around sideways.
Well, it's interesting because, like, for me, like, I've only run out a couple dirt races, so I came in here kind of like, okay, I know the track's gonna get worse, but what's it gonna actually look like? It was interesting seeing everyone really sort of adapt. And obviously, some people did it better than others. You, despite being that magnet in stage 3, where everyone was just getting to your quarter panel, you got back to P3. Absolutely, hats off on keeping your head in the game and doing it. But before we kind of let you go and enjoy the rest of your Easter, because we're getting through this pretty early. Was expecting to be here until about 10:30. So before I let you go and kind of enjoy the rest of your Easter evening, this is sort of the stage where if you have anyone you want to shout out, anyone you say thank you to, the floor is yours, man. You finished on the podium, P3 here at Bristol. A very challenging race for you. You've definitely earned it.
Yeah, I just want to thank my teammate Toby. Me and him ran a whole lot of practice laps together, and I felt comfortable on the dirt. He's actually started to run some late model stuff with us too, which is I enjoy our Mondays that we do that. I think that's helped me. It did help me out quite a bit in this race, just knowing how the cars kind of act on iRace and on the dirt. But yeah, just a big shout out to Toby. It's kind of feel bad for him. I don't think he got the finish that he probably should have deserved there. He was a really quick car. I think that he would have probably been up there with the 61 and with Trey. I would have probably been a fourth or fifth place car if a handful of guys didn't end up getting into some trouble. But I guess we'll take third. And the next couple races that are coming up are Talladega, Dover, and Darlington. I'm pretty sure, and those are some tracks that I feel pretty good about. So hopefully I can just keep it together and string some good races together because I usually something ends up happening to me in these other races. Martinsville, I was running top 5 and come in and got tires and didn't adjust my brake bias, locked it up, and just keep messing myself up. But if I can just keep putting these together, then I think we'll be good going forward.
I absolutely agree. I mean, Talladega has been rescheduled because everyone's going to Talladega and they just won't be home in time. So shout out to them. So the next race is Dover in 2 weeks. But yeah, we are going to get a Talladega race here at some point, I think, in the next couple months when they have an off week. Again, and yeah, like as I mentioned before, like you've been in the top 5, you've been in these top positions, and it's just one thing after another. But again, congrats on your I think it's either your first or second podium of the season. I'll have to double check on that.
It's the first.
Yeah, I know you've been up there. Like your 51's been pretty easy to spot up near the front of the field. But with Dover coming up, obviously, hopefully more of that continues, and hopefully we get to see you get your first win of the season.
All right, man. Thank you. And I got to tell you one more thing before we get off here. Ryan's sitting in the interview waiting room. He said that he wanted a fourth interview. So
Yeah, I messaged him.
that one to you.
Yeah, I messaged him like, "Do you want to interview?" He's like, "Yeah, if you have time." Yeah, absolutely. So I'll definitely get to him. Thank you very much. Again, congrats on your third place on Easter weekend. We'll see you at Dover.
All righty. See you, buddy. Thank you for broadcasting with us, and happy Easter.
Thank you. You as well. That was Bradley Wright, our third place finisher. Jacob Blankenship not available for an interview at the moment, so we are going to interview with Ryan Pannell He finished 4th, got that photo finish for Trey Kirk, but we're going to talk to him here. Hey, Ryan, this is Clayton from the RX Racing booth. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Awesome. 4th place. It was a wild one. You spent most of your race without a front bumper. But what was your impressions of that one? Obviously, it was difficult for everybody. You were in your share of the trouble, but what was the general, like, I guess, how was the general feeling going through that event, like being so different, knowing this is like the only dirt race of the season we got?
Yeah, it was definitely different. We had a smaller field, so it was a little more relaxed. We had, most all the drivers in the field, know each other from several years, going back even to the Xbox side of things. So it was definitely a little more laid back. We, tried to have as much fun as possible. But yeah, it was a little crazy. Definitely had some a little more cautions than I would like, but you kind of expect that with being on dirt. These cars don't handle really well on dirt, so it was a learning curve for everybody. But overall, I think it was a pretty decent race.
Obviously, with it being more relaxed, obviously it's going to be a little bit better. Seeing how the track sort of evolved, because this track's been on the calendar for at least now a couple of years. I don't know if you had any experience beforehand, but did the changes that were made to this track make it better compared to what we saw last year, or what? Like, what was the general consensus like? Because it seemed like everyone was at least a little bit happier. Like, there wasn't a lot of gloom and doom there. Was it just better, or was it just like one of those things where everyone knew?
Yeah, I think everyone just knew. I mean, it did make it a little bit better. The the progressive banking that they used, in the new scan, it made it to where it was more of a multi-groove track. I mean, you could run the bottom and the top, but I think the biggest thing is, including myself, I mean, we really didn't know that the track was going to slick over as quick as it did. I mean, I think pretty much by lap 15, the track was, pretty much used up. So the rest of the race, we were all just kind of searching for grip. You saw a lot of guys bouncing off the wall, trying to just get it to turn and get that grip in the top line. I tried to stay more on the bottom just to keep my car out of trouble, which didn't work because, I had several minutes of optional repairs pretty much the whole race. But, luckily here at Bristol, that's not a huge deal, especially on dirt. So I just stayed out and, just kept plugging along. I got by Trey Kirk right there on the last lap. That was a really good race to the finish between me and Trey. We're really good buddies, both on Team Sideswipe, and that was fun. But wish I could have gotten, the top 3, but I'll take a 4th place all day long.
Obviously, we talk about you ran the. I actually asked Briley this right beforehand, like, why was people not running the bottom? And he's just like, well, there just wasn't a run there. You ran it trying to stay safe. Was there a noticeable difference on the bottom lane as far as grip went? Because obviously we see the rubbers from the middle lane up. That's where the danger zone kind of became. Was it grippier on the bottom, or did it fall away at the same time?
Yeah, no, actually, I had pretty good grip down there. My main thing was just the biggest thing is if you went in the bottom, especially once it's slicked off, pretty much after about lap 20, you had to be really careful if there was a car on your outside, because you'd throw it down in there on the inside and it would drift up almost into the other driver's lane. So you really had to kind of play with the brake and the throttle. But I actually found some pretty good grip down there. That's pretty much where I ran most of the race. I just was more comfortable down there. So it ended up working out. It also, running the bottom, it keeps you away from, anybody wrecking or spinning out. They're all, most of the time here at the Bristol Dirt, they kind of go up into the wall. So it gives you a chance to try and, get by some of those wrecks, which, we missed some. We were involved in others, but yeah, I really liked the bottom line. I thought it was had some pretty decent grip, all night long, and helped us come home P4.
Well, obviously, Talladega's kind of rescheduled because everyone's going to be going down to Talladega for next week. So with Dover and Darlington coming up in a couple weeks, what are you sort of highlighting and kind of getting ready for going back to more of the difficult, shorter ovals that we're seeing here? Darlington, we know how difficult Darlington is, and Dover, sort of just it's a wide track, it's a high bank track, but if something goes wrong, especially out of turn 2, the whole track's blocked. What are you sort of preparing for mentally going into those next couple races?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're kind of taking the week off. Pretty much every series for ARCS is off this week. We're going to our corporate event, so excited about that. But yeah, I mean, Dover, I mean, it's pretty much a Bristol on steroids type deal, so that's going to be a struggle. Darlington is going to be a lot of fun. We'll have, a lot of our drivers with throwback schemes, back to whatever number they're running, they'll run a throwback scheme. But that's where we'll have to, especially as admins and owners, we're going to have to get back to the setup. Bristol Dirt, there's really not a whole lot of setups out there. Even if you go to, some of these setup shops and stuff like that, they just don't really have anything for Bristol Dirt. There's just not a lot of demand for it. But getting back to Dover and Darlington, we'll have to search the setups, make sure the setups are, where the drivers feel comfortable driving the cars. That can be a challenge sometimes, as you know. Sometimes you find a setup and half the field loves it and half the field hates it. So it's just one of those deals. But we'll find a setup that's somewhere in between there where everybody can just learn to drive the setup. But yeah, Dover and Darlington, both very, very tough tracks, especially in these cars with them, with how loose they get on corner exit, especially. Hopefully we can do some practicing as drivers. I try and hold practices throughout the week, and then pretty much all day Sunday, I have practice sessions up, all day long. So hopefully the drivers will practice, get ready for those 2 races. But honestly, I'm excited for a week off.
Yeah, I feel that like it's Indy Arcs is off because it's 420, and I don't want people celebrating and racing. And obviously everyone's gonna be down in Talladega, so we're not gonna be racing next Sunday and everyone's gonna be still in Talladega Sunday night. Absolutely, like a week off after 10 straight weeks of racing so far, pretty well deserved for everybody. Obviously you finished P4, survived absolute mayhem. If you have anyone you want to shout out, obviously you're part of Team Sideswipe. I think you run Team Sideswipe. All this is really possible thanks to you. So again, thanks for letting me at least be up here and broadcast it. But if you have anyone in particular you want to shout out, the floor is yours, man. Congrats on a solid recovery drive there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I really, P4, I'll take that all day long. But yeah, shout out to all my fellow drivers and Team Sideswipe. They really helped me. I mean, as you know, you never want to race with people slower than you. It's never going to make you faster. And man, we have some of the fastest guys in Team Sideswipe. I mean, Cody and Jeremy, and there's several others that just every week they have a potential to win the race. So, but yeah, shout out to you. I appreciate you, calling these races. It helps me tremendously. Going back and watching and getting, stage in points and all that. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that I think a lot of drivers, don't understand. I know you do, with ARCS Indy, and the other series that you have going on with ABN.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, man. It's a lot of work, and so it's always good to come out in your own series and get a good finish. So I'm happy. We'll take a week off. Pretty much all of ARCS taking the week off. We will have some dirt and modifieds tomorrow night, but then we'll take like you said, a well-deserved week off and get back to it the next week and do some racing.
Again, congrats, Ryan. Happy Easter. Good way to get a result there. A 4th place finish for you. We'll see you in a couple weeks at Dover.
Thank you, sir.
That was Ryan Pannell, 4th place finisher here at Bristol. A very good recovery drive, missing the front bumper on his car for most of the race. As he mentioned, had a lot of repair that he needed to do. He just kind of set it aside, and it paid off. Really good strategy call for him. But that'll do it from here at Bristol. We'll see if we can pull up the results here. And I don't believe we can. Oh, actually, we can do it. Awesome. So Joshua Gaiman, our race winner, cleared by 1.7 seconds over Jacob Blankenship. Briley Wright finished P3. We talked to him earlier. Ryan Pannell in P4 for Team Sideswiped over Trey Kirk, his teammate there. So Sideswiped 4th and 5th on the road. Thomas Andrews in 6th place. James Kerr finished 7th. Tom Sears in 8th and last place on the lead lap. John Smeal P9 for him on the lead lap after being involved in a couple incidents later in stage number 3. Cody Riggs and Jeremy Breo start off the cars that are off the lead lap. Riggs 3 laps down, Breo 4 laps down. That was the case early on, and they just never could recover. Toby Estes wrecked out in stage 2, ended up 13 laps down here at the finish, but he finished P12. Was a fast car, P3 in qualifying, just it didn't ever go his way, it seemed like. But then we talk about the DNFs. Tommy Reynolds in 13th, Donald Ray in 14th, 15th for Dylan McDonald on his debut, Kevin Feemster in 16th, and then Pete Woodrum in 17th rounds out the grid here at Bristol. As we mentioned during the interviews, we won't be broadcasting next week. Indy Arcs on Wednesday has the day off. You have Thursday Night Thunder has the week off. Saturday Night Showdown has the week off, and obviously we're not be racing next Sunday for A Squared because everyone will be down in Talladega for the Arcs corporate event. But we'll see you the week after our next race in Dover in 2 weeks' time. We hope to see you all then. But until then, on behalf of Arcs Racing Networks, on behalf of ABN, on behalf of everyone here at Bristol for the A Squared Cup Series, big thanks to Darkside Mustangs, to Windy Chevrolet, and to Midwest Barbecue for sponsoring the series. But until then, I'm Clayton Hardy. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a very fun